We've had plenty of bolt down early to mid 19th century travel inkwells before, but this one's a little bit different. So let's move the camera in a little bit closer and have a good look at it. Now these inkwells work in quite a simple but effective manner. You simply have a bolt here which fixes the cap down. So unscrewing the bolt allows you to lift the cap up and then get to the small aperture with your quill pen to get to the ink. To the interior, originally this cap would have had a piece of leather or perhaps a cork just to give a really good firm seal during travel. It's missing to this one, as you can see, but the little pin is still there that would have held it. So fixing this down really makes it nice and secure. And not only that, but this little thumb grip here to undo the bolt is also hinged, so it folds down nice and flat, just to make it a little bit more practical for travel. Now these inkwells were used on campaign desks, secretary campaign desks. Quite often in the internal drawers you might get dividers which are sized to take one or two of these inkwells. They're also used in writing slopes, which we'll show you in a minute. But why is this one different? Well, firstly, it's quite large in size. I would say that this is probably a standard size, so we can see that there's quite a difference there. They did make these inkwells in all sorts of different sizes, and we've certainly had smaller than this. We've also had them round in shape and octagonal as opposed to square. Silver plate. The vast majority tend to be brass though, like these two. But what are the differences there? Well, you can see that the bolt is in a different place. This is typical with a bolt on the end here. You can see it on this one as well. But given the size of this, you wouldn't be able to have this bolt closer to the hinge section here. There just wouldn't be space to do it. With this much larger size, there is space, and they've decided to make the design a little bit different and put the bolt in the middle there. Perhaps they wanted the opening of the inkwell a little bit closer to the front to make it easier for access. Well, that's a minor difference. But of course, if you're a collector of inkwells, if you're a collector of anything, if you find something which has got a minor difference, be it in its size or perhaps some sort of fault in production or some unusual material used, then immediately it's of interest to you because it stands out. It's different from the vast majority on the market. And so this one certainly is. It's the first one we've seen where the bolt has been to the middle there. A little bit of a peculiarity in design, but very interesting for it. So this is a writing slope. Let's show you how they were used on a writing slope. So most writing slopes typically will have a desk tidy section at the top here with two square holes to either end, and basically your inkwells sit in there. Now these holes come into a variety of different sizes, so when you're buying one for a writing slope, you want to be quite careful with the size. You want to get it as close as you can, but with enough space to get it out. So this one is quite good. It could be a little bit bigger. This one is too small for it. There's too much movement in there really. But that's how they were used. But of course they could also be used independently. You could put them in a pocket if you wished, but mostly they were used with slopes and secretary campaign desks. They're English. They were made over quite a wide period of time because the design was so good. Early to mid 19th century. And that's how we're going to date this one. We can't be any more accurate than that, really. But it's an interesting inkwell just for its minor change in design. A small thing, but to a collector, probably quite important.